Consistency isn't sexy. Nobody brags about it. It doesn't get clicks. And a lot of us struggle with the shame around inconsistency. And so it becomes a bit of a taboo subject. No matter how brilliant, resourceful, and scrappy you are, if you can't stay consistent, nothing else matters. And none of the generic discipline hacks and the shame-fueled macho motivation can ever teach you how to actually and sustainably be consistent. In this video, I'm going to show you the 4 counterintuitive refiners that finally broke me out of years of inconsistency. And I now have used these to help hundreds of other creators find sustainable momentum. The real enemy. The real enemy of consistency isn't laziness. It's tense, nail-biting, expectation-heavy drudgery. When your work is laced with shame, you burn out. You're too heavy to move very far at all. Alan Watts says that the real secret of life is play. To be completely engaged with what you're doing in the here and now, and instead of calling it work, realize it is play. That's the hiding in plain sight judo move we can all really do to be a little bit more consistent. We can just tactfully approach and physically approach everything we're doing with a little bit more light and ease. Sometimes when I'm editing, I look like an insane person because I'll sit there and I'll just move. Whenever I'm doing something that's starting to feel like drudgery or monotony or just something that's just becoming brutal, I just remember to just approach it a little bit more playfully. And that's why I can do 8 hours on an edit or on a script or on writing a song or mixing something. And here's the battle tested by working with hundreds of other creators equation that really makes this work as play a reality. Let go of the anxious need to be great or perfect. That frees you of any expectation, which frees you of any timeline, which frees you of overthinking. And then you don't create a complex of incremental failure within something, aka shame, which creates a positive feedback loop, which makes you enjoy doing it, which then pulls you into consistency. If you want to go deeper with that, click the link below and also sign up for my email list. Flexibility. Here's something you won't hear in hustle culture. You're most consistent when you're most flexible. Rigid discipline can make you kind of fragile because you're in a loop of self-improvement. So much so that you're never quite improved enough to trust what's right in front of you. You build this kind of house of cards where everything has to be perfect in order for you to start. So many variables have to be in place. But when you're flexible, you can take messy, compromised action, and that's when you really move. Then you don't need all the variables lined up, and you start to see that you are inflating the approach so much that you made it unnecessarily intimidating. That's the trap of a self-improvement junkie. When you break out of that, you do 20 minutes there and you do an hour there and you compromise on that, but that led to 2 hours deep of what you actually needed. And that's when things actually move consistently. Consistency is about being able to act without conditions. And that's how you outlast your own discipline, with flexibility. Framing the 4 R's. We've been taught to think that discipline means more time, more tools, more people, more meetings, more software, more optimization, more. But consistency doesn't come from more. It can't come from more. It comes from moving lighter and more free. And this is where the 4 R's come in. Yes, I know it's cheesy self-help jargon to call something the 4 R's, but these are just the cornerstone words that come up again and again when helping people be more consistent. Removal. In a world obsessed with more, one of the rarest and sharpest skills is subtraction. You can't always control what you'll get or where you end up, but you can always control what to remove. Selective engagement is basically the only control we actually have anymore. The best thing about removal is it takes away all the stuff that was blocking you from recognizing your own vitality and your own vibe and your own personality. It's hard to rely on you when you rely on so much, when you need so much to be creative, to be inspired, to be informed, to be useful. You're not gonna be consistent. You've got a lot of dead weight. Here's a short hack, even though I hate hacks. Stop making to-do lists and make not to-do lists. And it starts with your attention. 99% of us are consuming what about 1% of us are making. which group do you fall in? Resourcefulness. Constraints create consistency because constraints are everywhere if you're just looking for them. Brian Eno, who's produced David Bowie, U2, The Talking Heads, talks a lot about these constraints. He says the mark of making a good album is having a limited budget and a hard deadline. This doesn't just make you creative, it trains your simplicity muscle and balances out a brain that is naturally very obsessed with complexity. Most of the best stuff in life is dead simple, yet we endlessly overthink and complicate everything, and that really hurts our consistency. And for myself, I produce and write music in a group. We all have different lives and things going on, and ambition doesn't always line up. It's hard to stay consistent as a total group. And the times I've made most progress was when I stripped back and I made unilateral moves, and then I let the network catch up after the fact. That's where resourcefulness lives. It forces you to turn over every stone and see what you really have. And when you do that, you start to trust yourself and you start to trust your environment. If you develop this self-trust, you'll be ahead of 90% of other creators. Rest. A lot of people aren't consistent because they kind of suck at resting. They suck at downtime. When they're resting, they've got 3 screens open and conversations to have and a million fires to put out, but it was their off day. That's junk. You gotta treat rest like a tool. The more intentional your rest is, the more intentional your work is gonna be. The tide goes in and the tide goes out. Actual shut off rest. Boredom. Harvard just did a neuroscience study on the importance of boredom. I'll link it below, but basically it just talks about how depression goes down and your sense of meaning in life goes up, directly equated to your ability to be bored. If you can train yourself to step away clean, you'll come back lighter and sharper. Rest well, move light, then consistency stops being such a grind. Refinement. The last one here, a lot of people aren't consistent because they're too precious with their output. They get stuck in perfectionism, which is essentially over preparing with some sense of nobility in order to somehow avoid a negative outcome. If you can focus a little bit more on the quantity, you'll find quality within the quantity. Throw 20 things at the wall and see if one sticks or not. If you can see every action as an iteration, an evolution, a version, a draft, then your action stops being such a big deal. That will push you into consistency. Refinement comes from mistakes. Being okay with mistakes is what gets you out of overthinking. When you stop performing for some invisible critic, that's when you really create, and that's when momentum really snowballs. Consistency isn't about results. It's about repeated swings at the plate, light, imperfect, playful, refined. Over time, this is what compounds. All in all, consistency isn't built on shame, and it can never be hacked by macho discipline override switches that don't last. Real consistency is refinement, removal, resourcefulness. What was the last one? Oh, rest, because I too suck at rest. Above all, flexibility. Stay light, stay playful, stay moving. That's how you build something real that you enjoy without burning out. Go deeper with the strategic blueprint below. It's helped hundreds of creators find actual relief from overthinking, and it doesn't have any of the generic macho motivation discipline hack crap that you find all over the internet. And please don't forget to sign up for my email list. That's it for today. I believe in you.